Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. When the 2025 NFL Draft wrapped up and the Miami Dolphins were on the clock in the 7th round, no one expected the name Quinn Ewers to still be on the board. Just a year ago, this guy was projected to be a first-round pick. Scouts drooled over his arm talent, his pocket presence, and the flashes of brilliance he showed at Texas. But as fate would have it, the 2024 college season wasn't as kind to Ewers as many had hoped. Injuries slowed him down, and while he still tossed 31 touchdowns, the inconsistencies and missed time led to a drop in his stock. Still, the surprise wasn't just that he fell to the 7th round, it was that he ended up in Miami, and not with the Hurricanes, who tried to lure him with a massive NIL offer. Nope, destiny had a sense of humor and dropped him right into the lap of the Dolphins. Let's rewind a bit. In the weeks leading up to the draft, rumors started swirling that Ewers had been offered a ridiculous amount of money to stay in college. Some reports tossed around numbers like $8 million if he entered the transfer portal. Fans and analysts scratched their heads. Was that even real? Who would throw that kind of cash at a quarterback who'd struggled to stay healthy? Turns out the figure was a little inflated, but the intent was real. Ewers had serious options on the table, and then like a plot twist out of a movie, it was confirmed. The University of Miami had offered Ewers a stunning $4 million NIL deal to come play for the Hurricanes. $4 million. That's generational money for a kid just out of college. And yet, he said no. He bet on himself. And somehow, he still ended up in Miami, just wearing aqua and orange instead of green and orange. Now, let's talk irony. Because this story is loaded with it, imagine being Quinn Ewers. You say no to $4 million from the Miami Hurricanes. You declare for the draft, thinking you'll go in the middle rounds. You drop to the 7th round, pick number 250-something, thinking maybe that bag is gone forever. And then the Dolphins call. Same city, same beaches, same weather. But now, you're in the NFL. You're not a college kid trying to prove yourself to a new coaching staff. You're a professional walking into a locker room with stars like Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Ramsey. And while you're not being asked to start or even be the backup, you're officially on an NFL roster. In a weird, poetic twist of fate, Miami was always going to be the next chapter of Quinn's journey, just not in the way anyone predicted. The football gods definitely have a sense of humor. Of course, you're probably wondering, did Ewers fumble the bag? Did he throw away millions just to be a 7th round pick? On the surface, yeah, it might look like he lost big money. But here's the kicker. Within 24 hours of getting drafted, Ewers signed a blockbuster exclusive autograph deal with Panini. Yeah, the trading card giant. And the numbers, a cool $3 million. That's just for autographs, folks. When you add in his rookie contract, signing bonus, and potential endorsements, he's already matching, maybe even surpassing, what the University of Miami was dangling in front of him. So no, Ewers didn't fumble the bag. He just chose a different path to secure it. He gets to keep his pride, his pro dream, and still walk away with more money than most people see in a lifetime. That's not a loss. That's a long-term win. Now, here's what's truly fascinating. With zero pressure on his shoulders, Quinn Ewers might finally get a chance to just play football. No Heisman expectations, no NIL headlines, no booster. Demands. For the first time in years, he's just another guy in the locker room. That's a powerful position to be in. He can focus purely on development, learning from professionals, and proving he belongs. As the Dolphins' third-string quarterback, behind Tua Tagovailoa and newly signed Zach Wilson, Ewers will spend this year absorbing the game at its highest level. And in a league where injuries are constant and opportunities come out of nowhere, who's to say we won't see Ewers take a snap in 2025? Remember, every franchise quarterback starts somewhere. Tom Brady, 6th round. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Quinn Ewers, 7th round pick with nothing to lose and everything to prove. Watch this space. Let's be honest though, this isn't what Quinn dreamed of a year ago. Back then, fans were chanting, "Don't win for Quinn," hoping their teams would tank just to draft him. He was the guy. The next one. Now he's a footnote in most draft recaps, but that could be the best thing that ever happened to him. The hype train can be a burden, especially when it's rolling before you've had a chance to grow. Ewers was always chasing expectations. Now he gets to escape them. He's got time to work on mechanics, study film, and rebuild his game without the national spotlight blinding him. Sometimes a fall from grace is exactly what a player needs to climb higher. And let's not forget, the Dolphins saw something in him. They didn't just pick him to fill a camp body, they saw potential. Now, it's up to Quinn to show the rest of the world what they saw. Let's also not ignore the strategic angle here. The Dolphins are in a tight spot when it comes to quarterback depth. Tua is a phenomenal talent, but his injury history is no secret. Zach Wilson, while once a number 2 overall pick, is on a 1-year deal and still trying to find his footing in the league. That opens a window for someone like Ewers. If he impresses in camp, earns trust in the locker room, and shows flashes of what made him a 5-star recruit, he could easily climb that depth chart. He's not just auditioning for a backup role. He's auditioning for the future. The Dolphins know that, and so does Quinn. This is a franchise that's looking to win now and build for later. If Ewers plays it right, he could become a crucial piece of that long-term puzzle. And if not, he still gets a season of NFL coaching and millions in the bank. Let's talk mentality, because that's going to be everything for Ewers moving forward. The glitz of being a top recruit is gone. The hype machine has moved on. Now it's about grind, humility, and growth. Ewers has to walk into that Dolphins facility ready to put in the work, listen, and adapt. He has the raw tools. Everyone knows that. What he needs now is the mindset. The league doesn't care who you were in high school. It doesn't care about your NIL worth. It cares if you can make the throw on 3rd and 8. That's it. The moment he embraces that, truly embraces it, he'll give himself a real shot. Plenty of quarterbacks have started from the bottom and made it. It takes belief, opportunity, and relentless focus. Quinn Ewers is no longer the chosen one. He's the underdog. And honestly, that might be the best version of him we've ever seen. Let's also not forget what a move like this means for the Dolphins front office. This is a low-risk, high-upside play. They didn't invest a premium pick or a massive salary. They drafted a guy who was once considered one of the best QB prospects in the nation and are letting him develop under their system. If it works, it's a steal. If it doesn't, they move on. Simple. And with Miami already having a strong QB room, there's no need to rush Ewers into anything. He can develop at his own pace behind veterans who know the game and the grind. From a roster building standpoint, this is exactly how smart organizations operate. They take calculated chances. Quinn Ewers is a calculated chance. A 7th-round flyer on a kid with a cannon for an arm and unfinished business. And for a team looking to stay competitive in a stacked AFC, that could be a difference maker down the line. So here we are. Quinn Ewers, the once golden boy of college football, has taken the long road to the NFL. He turned down millions in NIL money. He slipped through the draft cracks. And yet he's landed in a city that wanted him all along, just in a completely different uniform. He's got a new team, a fresh start, and a chance to prove everyone wrong. The expectations are gone, but the opportunity is there. And in the NFL, that's all you can ask for. Whether he becomes the next great QB story or just another name. In the mix, one thing is clear. Quinn Ewers isn't done, not by a long shot. Miami may not have been his plan, but it just might be his destiny. And if he plays this right, we could be talking about this moment, this decision, as a true beginning of something special. Stay tuned. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The Miami Dolphins have officially entered stormy waters. And it's not because of the weather in South Florida. What we're seeing now is a full-blown crisis unraveling within the team's core. Star wide receiver Jaylen Waddle has dropped a bombshell that has shocked fans, coaches, and the entire NFL community. In an exclusive revelation, Waddle made it clear that he has no intention of playing another snap alongside Tyreek Hill while wearing a Dolphins jersey. That's right, what was once hailed as the most electrifying wide receiver duo in the league is now history. This isn't just a personal rift. It's a full-scale internal meltdown that threatens the very fabric of Miami's playoff dreams and locker room culture. This is the kind of news that doesn't just shake the team, it rattles the entire league. So let's unpack everything that's been happening behind the scenes in Miami and what led to this seismic fallout. From the moment Tyreek Hill arrived in Miami via trade from the Kansas City Chiefs, expectations were sky high. The combination of Hill's Olympic speed and Waddle's silky route running was supposed to terrorize secondaries for years. And let's be honest, at first it worked. They lit up the field in 2022, ranking among the top receiver tandems in yards, receptions, and touchdowns. But success on the stat sheet doesn't always translate to harmony off the field. According to insiders close to the organization, tensions between Waddle and Hill have been simmering since late last season. It started as playful competition, but somewhere along the way, it evolved into something much darker. Resentment, mistrust, and eventually verbal altercations behind closed doors. The coaching staff tried to keep it quiet, but when a team is leaking emotionally, it eventually spills over. Sources say that the breaking point came during a private team meeting last week, where Hill reportedly called out several teammates for a lack of intensity and accountability, Waddle included. Witnesses say the confrontation was not only heated but personal. Waddle, who's typically known for his calm demeanor, snapped back at Hill in front of the team, accusing him of being selfish, manipulative, and more concerned with his brand than the Dolphins' success. This wasn't just a disagreement, it was a public rupture in leadership, and teammates were forced to pick sides. That's when things escalated. Waddle left the facility that day and didn't return for 3 practices. The Dolphins front office tried to mediate, even bringing in outside counsel to defuse the situation. But Waddle's stance became increasingly firm. He will not share the field with Tyreek Hill again. This puts head coach Mike McDaniel in an impossible position. McDaniel, praised for his innovative offense and player-friendly culture, now finds himself trying to salvage a ship that may have already hit the iceberg. Let's not forget Waddle and Hill are both foundational pieces of this offense. Losing either one would be catastrophic, but trying to keep both under the same roof might be even worse. The front office is scrambling to assess trade possibilities. Teams have already begun calling. The Baltimore Ravens, Philadelphia Eagles, and even the New England Patriots have shown interest in Waddle, knowing full well that a talent like his doesn't hit the market often. Meanwhile, Hill remains defiant, reportedly telling coaches that he won't apologize for demanding greatness. But is it greatness or ego? What's most shocking about all of this is how quickly things unraveled. Less than 6 months. Ego, Waddle, and Hill were posing together for GQ, laughing about who was faster and claiming they were brothers. But as we've seen time and time again in this league, chemistry can be as fragile as a rookie's confidence. Waddle feels overshadowed. He's made it known that despite putting up back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, he's always treated like the sidekick in Miami. One source close to him said, Jaylen feels like he's Batman too. But everyone keeps calling him Robin. That chip on his shoulder has now become a wall, and there seems to be no path forward for reconciliation. Not with Hill still in the building, not with egos this bruised. Fans are devastated. Social media is in a frenzy, and Dolphins Twitter is split right down the middle. One camp is standing firmly behind Waddle, claiming Hill has brought unnecessary drama since arriving from Kansas City. Others argue that Hill is the alpha, the vocal leader this team needs to chase a Lombardi. But here's the thing, leadership without unity isn't leadership at all. It's division dressed in confidence. And right now the Dolphins are a divided locker room pretending everything's fine. Reports even suggest that quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is caught in the middle. He's close with both receivers and has been trying to play peacemaker, but his silence publicly is only fueling speculation. Does he have a preference? Would losing one target throw off his rhythm? This is no longer just a receiver issue. It's a quarterback crisis in disguise. Front office executives now face a tough decision. Do they trade Waddle while his market value is still high? Or try the unthinkable? Move Tyreek Hill, their prized asset? Either decision will send shockwaves. Trading Hill would mean admitting failure in building a sustainable culture around stars. Trading Waddle risks watching a young elite playmaker blossom into a superstar elsewhere. The locker room, meanwhile, is tense. Players have reportedly formed unofficial cliques, and team dinners have been canceled. Even film sessions have taken a colder tone. What started as a personal feud is now a cultural fracture. Coaches and veterans are pleading for unity. But sometimes when the roots are poisoned, the tree can't be saved. The Dolphins might be nearing that point. We can't ignore the business side either. Sponsors are nervous, the front office is under fire, and fans are demanding answers. If the team doesn't handle this with precision and urgency, this could go down as one of the most damaging internal fallouts in recent NFL memory. Remember what happened with Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh, or Terrell Owens in Philadelphia. Locker room implosions don't just impact the next game, they leave scars for years. Draft strategy changes, free agents think twice, coaches get questioned. The Dolphins were on the verge of becoming a perennial AFC powerhouse. Now, they're staring down a crossroads where every option looks painful. One wrong move, and this franchise could go from Super Bowl hopeful to full rebuild in less than a year. Let's not forget what's at stake here: reputations, careers, legacies. Waddle isn't just walking away from a teammate. He's walking away from a team he helped elevate. And Hill, for all his swagger and confidence, might have finally crossed the line that talent alone can't erase. What we're witnessing is not just a disagreement, it's a philosophical divide about leadership, priorities, and respect. And at this level of competition, those divides become canyons. If McDaniel can somehow bridge this gap, he'll deserve Coach of the Year just for that. But if he can't, then this Dolphins era might be remembered not for what it achieved, but for what it lost. An elite duo, a rising dynasty, and the chance to become something legendary. In the coming days, we'll see how the Dolphins respond. Will there be an emergency press conference? Will Waddle be listed as inactive or officially placed on the trade block? Could this lead to front office changes or even a coaching shakeup if things continue to spiral? Every detail now matters. Every decision will be scrutinized. But one thing is certain, the Dolphins, as we knew them, are gone. Whatever happens next, it won't be the same team that took the field last season. And while fans will keep hoping for reconciliation, the words from Jaylen Waddle are final for now. I won't play another down with Tyreek Hill in that uniform. Those aren't just words. That's a declaration of war from within. And the Dolphins must now decide which warrior do they ride with. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.